First, time to transition, and it's good news. That's the focus of tonight's Angle.
It's what we say. When we fight, we can win. When we fight, we win.
Donald and Elon are bullies. They are afraid of pushback, and we are here to push back.
How many more New Yorkers will you detain? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
While the Democrats scream at protests and struggle to do their own political autopsy, President Trump is fighting 24/7 for America. The goal is simple: a return to an era of peace, prosperity, and common sense.
Financially, we'll be stronger than ever before. I think the markets are going to soar when they see what's happening. And I want to tell you, there's tremendous optimism out there about our country in terms of regulations being cut, in terms of taxes being cut. It would be great if the Democrats would do what's right for our country for a change.
Isn't it great to have an optimistic president who has a real plan to make life better for Wall Street and Main Street? Just ignore the sky is falling reports in the regime press. Tune out the breathless reporting about market gyrations, because even the most dedicated globalists, they know Trump is good for business.
The president is engaged with the business community. The administration is engaged with the business community. And that's a different experience than what we've had over the course of the last 4 years. I'd also observe, his sense of optimism in the engagement yesterday at the BRT.
So what we're living through now is a transition, and this one's good for us. For decades, ours has been an economy driven by government stimulus, a lot of printing and borrowing of money, government spending, government giveaways. And Trump knows our survival, though, requires a return to an economy by private sector productivity, the way it used to be. That's why the playing field in global trade has got to be leveled.
We have tariffs on dairy products from Canada of 270%, going up to 400%. You never hear that. Canada's absolutely one of the worst. And we, when I say worst in terms of charging tariffs. Their dairy products, they charge our farmers 240, 250, 270, and 400%. And we charge them like peanuts.
400%? Oh, that's fair. Look, Trump has been on this since, sometime in the 1980s.
It's very important that you have free trade. But we don't have free trade right now, because if you want to go to Japan or if you want to go to Saudi Arabia or various other countries, it's virtually impossible for an American to do business in those countries. A lot of people are tired of watching other countries ripping off the United States. This is a great country. They laugh at us. Behind our backs, they laugh at us because of our own stupidity.
Yeah, and nearly 40 years later, now Donald Trump is in a position to do something about it.
The United States of America is going to take back a lot of what was stolen from it by other countries and by, frankly, incompetent U.S. leadership. We're going to take back our wealth, and we're going to take back a lot of the companies that left.
Take back what they stole from us, or what we gave away from stupid policies. And you think about it, what is the alternative? Keep allowing government to just balloon out of control? Keep borrowing money? Keep the deficit spending $2 trillion every time we do a budget? What happens when our debt becomes too risky and then no one wants to buy it?
They have to sell a quantity of debt that the world is not going to want to buy. And that's a set of circumstances that is imminent. You are going to see shocking developments in terms of how that's going to be dealt with. Things that may not have happened in our lifetimes.
Trump understands this, but Democrats, for political reasons, pretend not to.
President Biden had left him an economy with steady growth, with all-time high stock markets, and with inflation coming down.
Donald Trump was given an economy that was on the way up. It's completely inverted now.
Oh, yeah, okay, that must be why Kamala won. Oh, wait. Now, the truth is, Trump is delivering for the American people. Companies are moving in or expanding, not shrinking or moving out. A Japanese beer company in Wisconsin boosting its production. 2 different South Korean steel makers are looking to bring production here. And Volvo, they're considering expanding production at their South Carolina plant. But still, Democrats want you to believe they suddenly have the real solution for the middle class?
Our unity of purpose is a clear sign of whose side we stand on. We're standing on the side of working families.
Okay, those are really nice words and well delivered. But the actions don't match up, and the people are onto this scam. According to an internal poll at the Democrat group called Navigator Research, only 27% of independents think that Democrats are focused on helping them, compared with 55% who said they're focused on others. Now, earlier today, our own Raymond Arroyo decided to ask folks in D.C. what they think about the Democrats.
When I say the word Democrat, you think what?
Loser.
Transgenderism.
Liberal.
Stock trading.
They have strange thoughts. I don't understand them.
Crybaby. Musk hater. Suddenly. More social programs and entitlements.
Socialist.
Evil.
Tell us how you really feel. Well, the fact is, over the past 4 years, Biden and the Democrats threw the middle class under the bus. Then they backed up and ran them over again. All Biden needed to do in January 2021, when you really think this through, and where the economy was in December 2019 before the pandemic, all Biden needed to do when he came into office was open up the economy, open the country up, get America back to business. But of course, he did the opposite. He kept things closed longer for months and months and months. He blew trillions that we didn't need to spend on COVID giveaways in Ukraine, on illegals, and of course, countless boondoggles that we're only discovering now. And if they're back in the majority, they'll do it again. More spending, more wasted foreign aid, more investigations, yes, of Trump, and probably, another impeachment. So does America really want that? We've seen that movie, and we know how it ended. And that's The Angle.